Alright, this will be chapter 3, part 1. So, after my suicide attempts and me constantly running away, my mom finally snapped and we got into physical altercations occasionally. And I think it finally just drove her to the point where she wanted to commit suicide as well. I only found out like kind of later, but in this timeline, that's what she's going through too. But my point of view is that once I started coming, I think my mom just gave up and she signed me over to like children's aid or some kind of service that I'm gonna be put into foster homes now. I'm in foster homes once again. So I only spent a year or a year and a half or 2 years with my mom until we parted away. And I was back in a foster home, but this time I'm more suicidal and more depressed than I was before. And so I would always, in that foster home, be thinking about my life, just always reflecting on myself. And it probably became one of the key reasons why I have an overthinking problem. Sometimes to this day, I'll be just thinking, and all of a sudden it just piles up and it bounces to something so small, so it's something so drastic that I don't like it. Then I become even more sad and depressed because that's what it is. But in reality, it isn't. I'm just overthinking. But that's been my life, like the entire way through, and like that's something I still have to work on. And I just I just remember it being very dark at these points because I always had the lights off. I think I finally closed myself off to human interactions. For the, I don't think I went back to school right away or anything either. I just listened to music. I just kept to myself. I didn't even. I just let everything go. I let my hair grow again. I was getting pretty shaggy looking, and I just wore the same stuff mostly every day. Like I just gave up, and at this point, I just try to be tough. I try to be more as if nothing was wrong with me, so everybody thought I was okay. At school, I still acted the annoying same way. Back at the foster home, I was a mute basically, and tried not to interact too much. When I was, you know, just alone, I felt very alone, and I would always think of different ways to kill myself, and I just stay in my room and draw all these dark type themes. Eventually, they evolved to something greater, like my that style of drawing I was doing, the dark, very gritty, like you can emotional type drawings. They became the Weeper collection. That's what I called that series of art drawings I was doing, which gave me the inspiration and ideas for the this mask and the nickname that I gave for it and this persona of mine, the Weeper collection, because this is my inner feelings, my expression. This is who I am on the inside, soulless and emotionless. I just want to have this look. Because this is what the darkness and emptiness and coldness I feel, and this is what it is. In case people always ask me about the mask, and why I dress the most of the way I dress. And I think that's in there. That's when I start developing more of my own style and more of my own personality. Because when I was with my mom, it was always how she wanted me to be, or how wanted to show her that I could be what she wanted me to be, and just to show her I was a good kid. It just didn't turn out that way. So this foster home started off pretty good. I mean, I had a foster sister who was pretty self-centered at times. My foster father worked a lot, and this foster mom was okay with me. And at this point, I think I thought she was like adorable looking in a way, but I just didn't bother. Like I remember every Sunday we would go to Dairy Queen and we just eat ice cream, and I just order the same thing. I'd just be like, just give me like a Reese's Pieces one and just call it a day. And it was just going well until another foster kid came into the scene, and I literally at this point I was emotionless. I had nothing going for me, and with him being around, it made it very entertaining. And when that comes to entertainment that he was doing, it got into a lot of trouble because he was stealing money, food, all kinds of stuff like alcohol and if he brought some, he would share with me sometimes, but most of the time I kind of just didn't bother because I didn't want to get involved. And he would get caught pretty often. He would get grounded so much. Eventually, I kind of just got bored and pitied and tired because he was always inside and I was always outside just drawing or whatever, and there was nothing to do. So I just take some of the blame of whatever he was doing so I can be grounded too, so I can join him. Like, there'll be things I forgot that he's did. Like, he stole a big ass box of chocolate bars. A whole box. Like, there's like $100 worth of whatever. And he stole that and he hid it. And then I think 3 months or so later, and then they find it. Like, they found the box and they're like, who did it? And Carl was like, oh, it wasn't me or whatever. And then she was like, Chase, was it you or whatever? And I didn't even say yes or no. So they assumed it was me. I got grounded. And I didn't give a shit because in my mind state, I'm already grounded. I'm already in a hell. I'm in a dark bedroom alone anyway. So it's like, doesn't matter to me. So a lot of things I got, I took the blame for just for the fuck of it, I guess. We were always forced to go to these hockey games and swim meets and stuff like that. And I'm like, fuck it, whatever, I don't care. I'll just listen to my music. And I listen to my music all day, every day. I had an MP3 player that run on a AA battery. And I had all my Seether songs, all my 3 Days Grace, Linkin Park, Korn, Shine Down, and Avenged Sevenfold. And I listened to it all day. As soon as the battery died, took that shit out. I always carried a pack of batteries with me. I put that battery back in and just carry on listening to my music. My social workers tried so hard to get involved with me and I just literally brushed them off and didn't give a fuck. I didn't even look them in the eye. I kept going on with my day. I was just a hollow shell at this point. I was just numb all over. Where I think I just felt dead inside because I had no reason to carry on and I'm just a puppet, just being guided by the fucking higher power hand, just put on a stupid show for me just so people can laugh at me and judge me and be cruel. And I remember one time I felt really alone one day, and I put my PlayStation on. My best friend happened to be on, and I haven't talked to him in a little bit. So I messaged him and I put the Bluetooth in my ear and turned off my TV so I could just hear him through the Bluetooth. And I told him I feel like alone, I feel sad, and I just wanted the company. And he stayed up like almost all night with me, with us just talking through the Bluetooth. And I think we both passed out with it on. And the next morning, we stopped talking until like I got to see him in person again. Like out of all the 5 years of school I spent with him, and everybody thought I was this hyperactive, annoying kid that was kind of a spaz. He knew I was none of that. He knew the truth. I was depressed, suicidal, and I guess fragile and weak at this point. And he helped me through a lot of it through school. Like he was the only one that knew about any of it. And I mean, like he knew about my past and what I've been through with like the whole rape and abuse all the way through. And he still stood by my side and helped me through. Like he's my true best friend. He's not even that. He's my fucking brother. And if you're watching this, he knows. He knows. And I was such a hellhole, and that because eventually it just got worse and worse, and then they start yelling at me and everything else, and it just I didn't care because all the foster homes I've been in, they all did the same thing. They used me for money. They just yell at me, ground me. I was just a trouble kid going through the same shit for the past 15 years without a fucking break anyway. And I stayed with them from 14, and then 15. 16 is when I got out of the foster home, when I wanted to leave anyway. And I was going out with this girl, and basically she ended up cheating on me because I didn't give her enough emotional feelings. And I tried my best at this point. Like I wanted that, and she couldn't stay. And I remember one time that during the breakup, my heart literally had like a shock to it, and I clenched my fist out of pain and sadness, and my nose started bleeding because just I don't know, I guess there was too much pressure on my head, or I just felt so hurt, and I felt alone. So I think around at the end of closer to when I start turning 16, I start doing more meditation, keep it to myself, and at this point, like my hormones were raging, and I was always horny from being like a teenager, still going through the stages of puberty, and with depression and all that whole craziness. I had so much mood swings, so much of it. I'll be so like mildly happy, and all of a sudden I'm fucking crashed down to just anger, and then sadness, and just so much crap going all at once still. So through that, I mean, that was just the foster home worked at first, but then like I have to admit I was a pretty bad fucking person, but I was free spirited and didn't care anymore. I could have died the next day and I would have been fine with it. And I guess yeah, we got took into the police station once in there because of my roommate decided to steal like I don't remember if it was $80 or $100 from our foster sister. what happened was I was walking down the stairs and her room was open, so I went to go knock at the door and check if she was home because I thought she was gone. And there he was with a fork and a piggyback trying to fish out the bills. And he's like, "I'll give you $20 if you keep quiet." And I'm like, "I don't care, man. I really don't." Because I'm still in the mentality of not giving a shit anymore. So he gave me the 20, and I put that 20 in my pillowcase, and I just kept it there because I know I wasn't gonna spend it. I wasn't gonna do anything with it. It's just there. So eventually, he got caught. The police were involved, and we sat around the table, and the police were questioning all of us. And because I was in front of everybody, I just still had the don't care attitude. But then when the police talked to me at 101, I told them that I didn't steal it. I'm like, I don't have any reasons to steal it. I'm not a thief like that. I just, I didn't do it. I don't know if you believe me or not, but anyway, I didn't get in trouble and he didn't get in trouble, so it's more likely they were trying to scare us straight kind of thing. And it didn't really work because he still stole random shit here and there. I remember just being outside and it was like fall and I was just laying down and just looking at the leaves just slowly drop and the wind blowing them away and I'm just thinking to myself, it's peaceful in ways but miserable at the same time. But it wasn't all bad in there. I mean, my foster brother was something. He would always like take shits in random spots, restaurants, and like places. Like he always shit everywhere. Like one time we went to Tim Hortons and I'm just sitting there washing my hands. Takes a big shit on the floor and he just leaves. One time we went to the Civic Center and he took a shit in the corner of the elevator, or he took shit on top of the toilet, or in someone's car, or in a closet. Like he was so fucking bad, but it was entertaining. He would run around naked and fucking being a fool, but it was good. And I think I started talking to my mom again, and we try to work it out. And we were talking about once I turn 16, I'm gonna move back with her because this foster home was like garbage at this point. It was very just toxic. I mean, it was a very poor atmosphere after that. So a few days before I was turning 16, I was getting my stuff packed, and they were telling me, unpack your stuff, you're not going anywhere fast, and like you can pack your stuff on the day you turn 16. And I was like, fuck you, I'll pack my stuff wherever I fucking please. These are my bags, these are my clothes, or my belongings. Why does it matter to you? So they pulled that card out and stuff like that. And I didn't care anymore. I just waited. I had it all packed up 3 days before, and I was just counting the days. A lot of times when I would be gone or at school, and they'd just take my stuff and try to unpack it, and just when I get home, I just pack it all again and just put it there. And then as soon as I turned 16, the very day I woke up, got dressed, called my mom. It was pretty early too, and then we just started throwing the bags into the van, and they came out and were like, they sang the whole goodbyes, and I just didn't give a shit. I'm like, whatever, and I went back into the door, shut the door, and we just drove off. I didn't bother talking to them after that or ever since. And that's the timeline where I'm 16 now. So now, in the next part of the story, I'll be with my mom that turned 16, and I moved back in with her. So if you guys keep up with these, you'll know the next part is, going to be interesting because I'm with my mom again, and I'm going to tell you now, still things didn't get any better. So thanks for watching, and like or subscribe, whatever, and uh, thanks for being fans of it, I guess.